Day one of historic impeachment hearings produced a very startling claim. It directly ties President Trump to the effort to pressure Ukraine to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter. The top U.S. diplomat in Ukraine, that's Bill Taylor, testified that a member of his staff overheard a call between the president and the ambassador to the European Union, that's Gordon Sondland. Taylor says that Sondland told the staffer the president cared more about investigating the Bidens than about Ukraine.
At the White House, President Trump said he knows nothing about that phone call with Sondland, and he called the impeachment hearings a, quote, joke. Nancy Cordes is on Capitol Hill, where she covered yesterday's first public hearing. Nancy, good morning. So are we going to hear directly from this staffer?
Yes, he is based at the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine, but he'll be here on Capitol Hill tomorrow testifying behind closed doors. His story appears to undercut the Republican argument that there is little direct evidence of the president's intent.
What this call indicates, as other testimony has likewise indicated, is that the instructions are coming from the president on down.
The new revelation comes from a U.S. Embassy staffer, David Holmes, who was sitting at a Ukraine restaurant with U.S. Ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland, when Sondland placed a call to the president.
The member of my staff could hear President Trump on the phone asking Ambassador Sondland about the investigations.
So your staff member overhears the president asking about the investigations, meaning Burisma and the Bidens in 2016. And Ambassador Sondland told President Trump that the Ukrainians were ready to move forward?
He did.
The story was relayed by the top U.S. diplomat in Ukraine, Bill Taylor, who testified that Sondland told him repeatedly that Mr. Trump would not release U.S. aid to Ukraine until that nation agreed to investigate his campaign rival, Joe Biden.
He said that President Trump wanted President Zelensky in a public box.
And what did you understand that to mean, to put Zelensky in a public box?
I understood that to mean that President Trump, through Ambassador Sondland, was asking for President Zelensky to very publicly commit to these investigations.
It's a witch hunt. It's a hoax. I'm too busy to watch it.
President Trump was asked about his phone call during a joint press conference with the visiting president of Turkey.
I know nothing about that. First time I've heard it. The one thing I've seen that Sondland said was that he did speak to me for a brief moment, and I said no quid pro quo under any circumstances.
His press secretary, Stephanie Grisham, also responded on Twitter, dismissing yesterday's witnesses, who are diplomatic veterans, as two bureaucrats with a foreign policy gripe. Republicans insisted Taylor's information was secondhand.
We got 6 people having 4 conversations in one sentence, and you just told me this is where you got your clear understanding, and you're their star witness.
Let me just say that I don't consider myself a star witness for anything.
They do. You don't.
No, I don't.
Democrats praise the witnesses. Republicans say they still want to hear from the anonymous whistleblower.
Now, there is one witness that they won't bring in front of us. They won't bring in front of the American people. And that's the guy who started it all.
I'd be glad to have the person who started it all come in and testify. President Trump is welcome to take a seat right there.
The next public impeachment hearing comes tomorrow. It features Marie Yovanovitch, the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, who was smeared by the president's personal lawyer and then recalled to Washington earlier this year. Ambassador Gordon Sondland is one of 8 witnesses scheduled to testify publicly next week. He'll be grilled about why he had to change his story after he was contradicted by so many other witnesses.
All right, Nancy, thank you very much.